It's another gorgeous night for baseball at Target Field. The Twins playing pretty good baseball right now, hoping to make it 2 in a row over the White Sox and hoping to continue a climb from the bottom near the top in the American League Central. And welcome again to Target Field. Dick and Bert with you for Game 2 of this series. The Twins hoping to continue what has been, over the last 10 years or so, mastery over the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, you know, who would have thought against a very good organization like the Chicago White Sox, the Twins have basically dominated the Sox, winning 8 series, losing 1, and then tying a couple. But you know what? I mean, for some reason, it's almost like that game last night, Dick. They came out, they could swing in the bat against a very good pitcher in Jake Peavy. Before Peavy knew it, by the 3rd inning, he was already down 3-0.
And the dominance for the Twins hasn't been just here in Minnesota, but also in Chicago. And, of course, one of the reasons the Twins have had the edge over the White Sox, they've got one of the game's best hitters in the middle of their lineup. And over the last month or so, Joe Mauer has reminded us all how he's won 3 batting titles.
Well, it's so important for Joe Mauer to be in that lineup because he just makes the Twins' offense so much better. Well, yeah, right through May 17th, he was struggling a little bit, but since the 18th of May, he's hitting over 400. It's fun to watch this guy go about his business. Loves to hit.
And speaking of Twins batting champions, when we come back, we'll pay tribute to the 7-time Twin batting champion, Rod Carew, on an anniversary of a memorable day at Metropolitan Stadium. Sports North is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealers. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
Tonight in downtown Minneapolis, the Twins going to try to win the series from the Chicago White Sox on Fox Sports North. I'm Robbie Smikowski, standing next to the Rod Carew statue right here outside Target Field, right along 7th Street. It was 35 years ago today when Rod's historic run at 400 really became a national story. June 26, 1977, the first-place Twins hosted the second-place White Sox. Carew that night went 5 for 6 with a home run and 6 runs batted in. He raised his average from 396 to 403, and this started the summer-long 400 talk. Carew's memorable season ended with a 388 average and the American League's Most Valuable Player award. What a season it was for Rod Carew. When we come back, it's Liam Hendriks and Gavin Floyd. They face off with the first pitch with Dick and Bert coming your way next on Fox Sports North.
Now just 7.5 games out in the division. Minnesota is working together as a confident club. The bats have become consistent, and the starting pitchers have been finding their way. Tonight, Liam Hendriks looks to join the pitching party in Game 2 against the Central leading Sox. And the Twins getting ready to take the field. They're hoping to put together a winning homestand. 3 games with the White Sox, a noon game tomorrow, and then the Royals come to town after an off day on Thursday for what has turned into a 4-game series. And Liam Hendriks knows that the Twins are craving him to pitch up here the way he did in AAA.
Yeah, he had 5 very good starts down in AAA, and it was 5-0 down there with a very good ERA. He needs to do it up here. Pitching has improved over the last week, and Hendriks wants to be part of that.
Here's the Menards batting order for Robert Ventura and the White Sox. Alejandro De Aza leading things off. Kevin Youkilis, Adam Dunn, Paul Konerko, Alex Rios, Diane Viciedo, Alexi Ramirez, Tyler Flowers doing the catching and hitting 8th, and then Gordon Beckham.
And Liam Hendriks making his 7th start, his 11th career start. He's still looking for his first major league win. On the year, 0-4, very high ERA. Now, I mentioned in the open or the pregame, Hendriks did face the Chicago White Sox in his major league debut last September. Even though he lost 3-0 to Jake Peavy, he pitched a career-high 7 innings in that ball game. And that's what they'd like to get out of him here. Just give us a consistent start.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Standard outfield. Willingham, Span, Revere, Plouffe, Carroll, Casilla, and Morneau. Brian Dozier getting the start off. Alexi Casilla's got pretty good numbers against Gavin Floyd. And Joe Mauer behind the plate. So Liam Hendriks, who did so well in spring training, made the team out of spring training. Had a bout of food poisoning before he could throw his first pitch this year. Then didn't pitch well and was sent down and pitched great baseball for the Rochester club. And then since his call-up, it hasn't gone real well for him again.
Yeah, he only has 2 quality starts in the 10 starts he's had at the major league level. The one against Chicago last year, and then the first one this year against the Rangers here. He pitched 6 innings, only gave up 1 run, and left with a lead, but the bullpen kind of gave it up. He lost 4-3 to the Rangers.
Not a cloud to be found, 81 degrees, 34% humidity. Perfect night for baseball. Glad you're with us wherever you are in Twins territory. De Aza, Youkilis, and Dunn to get things started here for the White Sox, who have not done well in the month of June. We talked a little bit about this last night. A good 2-week period at the end of May got them into first place. They're still there, but they're 9-13 in the month of June. 1-0 to De Aza.
I think what we've seen too, Dick, Cleveland Indians have not had a best month of June, and it's really allowed, the Tigers, Kansas City, and the Twins to kind of make this race tighter. Twins only 7.5 in last place coming into this ball game, behind the Chicago White Sox, a half a game lead over the Indians.
2-0, Hendriks to De Aza. And a strike on the outside corner. Twins in June are 12-10. That's, they're off to a decent start in the 3rd month of the year.
Every time you walk out of that mound as a starter, you're fighting for your spot in the rotation. This is a very important start for Hendriks. And you don't want to fall behind early, and you want to establish that strike zone with the fastball, and that's exactly what Ron Gardenhire said in his meeting today.
2-2 to De Aza.
He's meeting with the press.
That's hit to center, and Denard Span calls for it in the gap, makes the catch, 1 away. Well, all the things that Gardy said, Rick Anderson has said it too, are all the things the Twins had been saying about Francisco Liriano. Have to establish your fastball, get ahead of the hitters with your fastball, and then work from there.
Well, Liriano at the beginning, he was struggling with a lot of things, more the mental part than the physical part, and what a job he's done turning it around. But he has a track record. This kid doesn't have a track record yet.
There is a ceiling. We just don't know how high it is for Liam Hendriks yet. Strike 1 to Youkilis. In the dirt, 1-1.
And if you weren't with us yesterday, Kevin Youkilis played in his first game yesterday for the Chicago White Sox, coming over in a trade from the Boston Red Sox. Got 1 hit in last night's ball game.
Up high, 2-1.
Youkilis, a 9-year veteran at the major league level, 33 years old.
Fouled away, 2-2. Youkilis said yesterday when he met with the media, he's hit just about everywhere in the lineup when he was with the Red Sox, so being inserted in the number 2 spot, which pushes Beckham down to the bottom of the batting order. He says he doesn't care as long as he's in the lineup, and that's pretty much been Beckham's response too. High and tight, full count. So 10 pitches, 5 strikes for Hendriks. Adam Dunn on deck. Hit hard to center field. Span will play it on a hop. So Youkilis, who got a hit in his last at bat last night, singles in his first at bat tonight.
We talked about last year, Liam Hendriks coming up in September, and on September 6th, 7 very good innings, a quality start. It's just that the Twins offense didn't score many runs that day, and Jake Peavy and their staff shut out the Twins 3-0.
Here's Adam Dunn. Had a tough night at the plate 4 at bats against 2 different left-handed pitchers, and he struck out 4 times. Up and away, ball 1.
The average low for Adam Dunn, a career .243 hitter coming into this year, but the power numbers. He makes contact, it can go a long way.
There's a strike.
Last year, a frustrating year for Adam Dunn. He played in 122 ball games, hit only 159, hit only 11 home runs. He has 23 already this year.
Foul to back, and it's 1-2.
All the strikeouts came against lefties. Francisco Liriano ended up getting him 3 times. And then Glenn Perkins comes in and just blows the ball right by him.
He's had 88 at-bats against left-handers, and he struck out 48 times. 1-2 to Dunn with the right-hander Hendricks on the mound. Missed the outside corner, 2-2.
Dunn with 378 career home runs.
And now 3-2. Youkilis at first, and 1 away.
He got the count to 3-2 in Youkilis, and he threw him a fastball, and Youkilis got that base hit. See what he throws right here to Adam Dunn.
And Dunn strikes out for the 5th time in the series, 2 down.
That looked like the 2-seamer, and it might have been out of the strike zone, but Adam Dunn goes down swinging again.
On the season, his 120th strikeout of the year.
Good downward plane with this 2-seamer. You can see the rotation. Dunn missed it by about a foot, looked like.
Here's Paul Konerko. Konerko in a mini slump right now for the White Sox. Hitless last night, and the average down to .337. High fly left field. Willingham over. And Konerko's gone on 1 pitch in a scoreless 1st inning for Liam Hendricks. The Twins hope to strike first as they did last night. against Jake Peavy with this Menards batting order. Denard Span started the game with a double last night. He'll be followed again by Ben Revere, Joe Mauer, Josh Willingham, Justin Morneau, Trevor Plouffe, Ryan Doumit, the designated hitter, and then Casilla and Carroll.
And on the mound here tonight, it'll be Gavin Floyd. Gavin Floyd against the Twins over his last 8 starts. He's 0-8 with an 8.86 earned run average. He's making his 15th start here, his second against the Twins this season.
Northland Ford defense for the White Sox. Viciedo, Diaza, and Rios in the outfield. Youkilis, Ramirez, Beckham, Konerko, the infielders. Tyler Flowers, pretty tough to run on. This might be one of the reasons Robin Ventura put him in the game here tonight. He's got a better throwing arm than A.J. Pierzynski. Here is Span, one of many Twins hitters that has put together very impressive numbers against Gavin Floyd. Strike on the outside corner. A couple of doubles in his first 2 at-bats. A screaming liner off the top of the fence in right center that nearly went out for his second double. Flip foul, 2 strikes.
Yeah, the other start for Gavin Floyd against the Twins this year came in Chicago back on May 22nd. He went only 3 2/3 innings, gave up the Twins 9 runs in that ball game. So the Twins have had his number as of late, only going back to 2009.
Side nearly hit him. Well, Span with 15 hits in 29 at bats against Gavin Floyd, and Floyd stands him up on an 0-2 pitch.
Going up, and you see Flowers sitting up. He wants that ball up, and Span getting out of the way. When Floyd is on, he's got a good fastball, good curveball, a quick slider, and a changeup. There's the curveball right there, just missing.
And it's 2-2.
He's almost had 2 seasons already. The first 7 starts, he had a 2.53 ERA. The last 7 starts, 8.59.
Bounced foul past Jerry White. Wanted no part of that.
Didn't want to play the short hop.
Floyd among the league leaders in home runs allowed, 15 of them in 83 innings. To left center field, slicing away from Diaza. He won't get there. Span with another hit. Another double against Gavin Floyd. And Floyd, somewhere in the back of his mind, must be wondering what happened. He had Denard Span 0-2, and now he's got a double.
Well, you mentioned, Dick, there are hitters in this lineup that have had tremendous success. And that ball right there, I think he wanted a 2-seamer. You could see it stayed straight, and Span just took it the other way. Diaza with good speed. He could not catch up to it as the ball hits off the warning track. And Span, like last night, starts the offense going for the Twins with a double.
Revere at the plate. And he takes inside, ball 1. Four hits for Revere again last night. His second 4-hit game in the last 4 games. Swings through Cutter.
Let's take a look at the GMC keys to the game, and it has to do with Ben Revere. His last the last 12 wins for the Twins, he's hitting almost 500 and stealing bases and scoring runs.
1-1 to Revere. Bouncer right side. Span will advance. Beckham to Konerko, 1 away.
A productive out right there. Being able to move Denard Span over from second to third.
Ordinarily, You have a guy who's now 16 for 30 against a pitcher. He'd be the best hitter against that pitcher in your lineup. Span is 16 for 30, but Mauer, at least over the last year or so, Gavin Floyd can probably get him out. He just hasn't for a long time. And Mauer comes to the plate, infield playing back, except at third base, with Span at third and one away. Off-speed pitch over for strike one. In his last 15 plate appearances against Joe Mauer, Floyd has not retired Mauer once. 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 5 singles, a walk, 4 intentional walks, and a hit batter.
Think Floyd knows that?
Pulled foul, and at least he's ahead of him 0-2.
Yeah, but he was ahead of Span too, 0-2.
Now the other side of that is, before that 15 plate appearance streak, Mauer was just 8 for 30 against him, which is pretty good from the pitcher standpoint. But my goodness, 15 straight plate appearances where the batter has reached against one particular pitcher.
You know, that's when you want to step off and throw the rosin bag up the home plate and see if you can hit that. You probably line that in the left field.
In the dirt, blocked nicely by Flowers, 1-2.
Well, Gavin Floyd, 29 years old, in his 6th season with the White Sox. Came up with the Phillies in 2004.
In the May meeting at U.S. Cellular Field, Floyd faced Mauer 3 times, gave up a single, a walk, and an intentional walk. 1-2. Got him. Threw a cutter down and in, and Mauer strikes out, and that 15 plate appearance streak comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah, Gavin Floyd picking up a strikeout, his 77th in 84 innings pitched. So he goes down and in underneath that swing of Joe Mauer and gets his second out.
And now Willingham with Span at third and 2 away. Off the plate, ball 1. Twins left 13 men on base last night, but they got early a big 2-out single from Jamie Carroll to make it a 3-0 ball game. Now they need a 2-out hit here from Willingham to get the first run of the game in. Swings through a fastball, 1-1.
That fastball clocked at 90. Now Floyd is coming off a very good start against the Cubs back on June 20th. 6 1/3 innings of shutout baseball in a win over the Cubs.
One and one. Floyd to Willingham. High fly to center field. De Aza makes the catch. The Twins get a leadoff double. Floyd strikes out Mauer in a key at bat.
using the hashtag #AskATwin. Denard Span was today's guest. And Garrett Chumley asked Denard Span, if you could be an athlete in any other professional sport, what team would you be? What team would you play for?
Probably football. Football, that's probably, I wouldn't say it's my first love, but, I enjoyed playing football growing up in Florida and also in high school. So, definitely I'd probably say football, wide receiver.
And I followed that up, Dick and Bert, asking if it would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because he's a native of Tampa, Florida. He said no, it would be the Minnesota Vikings. Good answer out of Denard Span. And thanks to those of you who sent in your questions for Twitter Tuesdays.
I thought he was going to be an offensive lineman, too.
Breaking ball, tap foul, 2 strikes. But that is a politically correct answer when you play for one Minnesota sports team to say that you would, if you were playing another sport, play for the other Minnesota sports team. 2 strikes. To right center field, and Span makes the catch. Rios retired. 3 outfield flies early on for Liam Hendriks. Rasmussen College is proud to present Student Days every Wednesday at Target Field. Students can attend the Twins White Sox game tomorrow at noon. Get a standing room only ticket for just $8. Student Day tickets are available beginning at 9 in the morning tomorrow, and there is a limit of 1 ticket per student with a valid ID. For more information, visit twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWIN. 1 gone in the second. Here's Diane Viciedo. And Hendricks gets ahead of Viciedo. He fell behind everybody in the first inning and so far has gotten ahead of the batters in the second.
6 batters, 4 first pitch strikes.
1-1.
Hendricks just 23 years old. 6th-year pro ball out of Australia. That's where he signed with the Twins.
Bouncer to short. Carroll's there. Over to Morneau, 2 down. And that'll bring up Alexi Ramirez. Ramirez off to a slow start, recovering nicely in the month of June.
Yeah, 2 for 3 in last night's ball game. Drove in the only run with a sacrifice fly off of Liriano.
Down the line, and a fair ball into the corner, and Willingham will chase it. And Ramirez will round second and try for third, and he'll be in with a triple. That ball looked to land right on the chalk line, and with 2 outs, White Sox have a runner at third.
The second triple of the year for Ramirez. Jumping on that first pitch and pulling it down that left field line. I think Willingham expected that ball to carry him a little bit more, maybe back to him as he goes into the corner. He's waiting for that ball, I think, to come off that one little spot, and it stayed and rolled into the corner. So one little outshoot right there of that low railing. He thought it was going to hit that and carry him over to him.
Here's Flowers. And there's a fastball, strike 1.
See where the stands come out right there. I think he expected it to hit that, but it hugged the wall and then all the way into the corner.
And a fan, at least one fan, tried to reach and grab it. And fan interference probably in this case would have left Ramirez at second instead of advancing into third as the live ball did. 1-1.
Well, Flowers, the backup catcher to A.J. Pierzynski. He has 2 home runs, only 2 RBIs on the year.
And only 47 at bats on the season. The downside to Pierzynski being as rugged as he is and playing on a pretty much every day, every night basis, the backup guy doesn't get much work. And Hendricks gets ahead of him, 1-2. And he took a call, third strike at the knees. White Sox get a 2-out triple. Hendricks strands him at third. Floyd survived a scoring threat at the bottom of the first. He'll face Justin Morneau to start the second. Then Plouffe, then Doman.
Gavin Floyd making his 17th career start against the Twins. He's 4-11.
Morneau with the big swing of the bat against Gavin Floyd in Chicago earlier this year after the intentional walk to Joe Mauer. Morneau plugged a 3-run home run. And a strike on the outside corner. Off the plate with a breaking ball. 1-1.
Yeah, Justin, 7 for 28 against Floyd, but 3 of the 7 hits have been home runs.
Another breaking ball wide. Even though the White Sox are in first place, they do have some issues in the pitching department. Floyd's been a disappointment so far this year. Philip Humber threw a perfect game. He was a disappointment. Now on the disabled list. Morneau fouls it back. Peavy gave up a lot of hits yesterday, but just 3 runs. He's been pretty good for them. The ace of their staff is going tomorrow, Chris Sale, but he has not pitched as a starter in the big leagues for a full season yet. Another breaking ball wide. He's missed with 3 of those to fill the count. High fly to deep right center field. Rios on the warning tracker on the edge of it. He makes the catch, 1 away. Just got underneath a fly ball for the first out of the inning. Ron Coomer, the Twins have had some success against Gavin Floyd.
Boy, I guess, Dick, if you had success like that, you'd never retire. But, you know, Gavin Floyd's been a guy who's just been snake bitten, makes a bad pitch, and ends up paying the price. We'll see tonight. You know, the Twins' offensive approach against him and what they're expecting is a lot of fastballs and fastballs outside corner and then going with the slider. I was talking to some of the guys today. Very similar to the approach of Chicago yesterday going at the Twins hitters. Start out with fastballs away, and then as the game went on, Peavy changed and threw a lot more breaking balls to the middle of the game. Floyd, they think, really is going to try to start him with a lot of fastballs and see if he can get through the lineup at least once without showing all his pitches.
1-1 to Plouffe. That slider or cutter, whatever it is, that darts away from a right-handed batter.
Yeah, that's a good pitch right there. He also has a good curveball. He's had trouble getting it over so far, so now they're going a little more to the number 3, and that's the slider.
Home plate umpire Mike Everett said he went. Plouffe strikes out for out number 2.
Bert, those are really good sliders right there. That's a really sharp downward plane slider. That's the best pitch I've seen him throw in a couple years.
I think, you know, to throw a good fastball down and away, you have to work out there, and that's what it takes to throw a good slider. Get out front and think down and away, and Floyd able to hit that spot. Plouffe unable to hold up.
Here's Ryan Doman. Inside, ball 1, and he's claiming it hit him, and he wants to go to first, but Mike Everett says get back in the box. That one did hit him. Floyd came inside to Span and just about hit him on an 0-2 pitch. And he's come inside twice to Doman and finally does hit him on the second pitch.
Well, you wonder if Doman saying that first pitch hit him, if Floyd just said, well, you want to be hit, here you go, I'll get you. Got him on the, looked like the right thigh area.
Bert, you mean that happens at times?
Yeah, that happens. That's the 9th hit batsman that Floyd has had this year.
You know, guys, when teams have that kind of success off a guy, you've got to establish pitches inside, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Floyd really works hard in today.
And Casilla nearly takes his shoes off.
And that's how you get back at him right there.
A sharp single. Casillas had strong numbers against Floyd, and he wastes little time in picking up a hit tonight.
Well, you can start somebody off with a fastball, but it's a location, and he starts Casillas off with a fastball, but take a look at the location. Pretty much right there, and Casillas driving it right back up the middle. And I don't know how that did not hit Floyd.
Casillas now 9 for 20, a 450 average against Floyd. And here's Jamie Carroll, 7 for 17, a 412 batting average against Floyd. When the 8 and 9 guys are hitting just about 500 against you, that's it's going to make for a tough night's work.
Well, you think you'd call in sick.
Strike one. Carroll, as we mentioned last inning, got a big 2-out hit for the Twins to push across a run in the second inning. That kicks away, and the runners will move up. So a wild pitch sends Doumit to third and Casillas to second.
Flowers trying to get it in front of that ball. It just caromed to his right. For Floyd, with his 9-hit batsman, that's his 5th wild pitch. See that breaking ball right there? It hit, looked like a chest protector of Flowers and rolled away.
Twins couldn't get a 2-out hit in the first inning. Carroll hoping to deliver one here in the second. The roller right side, backhanded by Konerko, and he finds Floyd, and that ends the inning. Twins leave 2 more runners in scoring position, and we're scoreless heading for the third. /baseball. Jennifer Nelson from Roseville saying Joe Mauer has quietly climbed into the American League batting race. Chase, what average do we think will take home the batting title this year?
You know, it's amazing. Look at the youngster, Mike Trout. He's now leading the American League with the Angels. I'm going to say, you know, in 330, 340 range. And that Joe, we all know he can do that.
Everybody on that list has a history. You can imagine Beltre might not finish at 328. He hasn't hit that high in his career. Konerko too. Right. Trout, we just don't know.
Right.
I mean, he may be the Rookie of the Year winner, the batting champion, and the league MVP when it's all said and done.
It's been a big impact he has to the Angels. And they moved Torrey Hunter into that number 2 hole, and they're starting to play a lot better.
When we played the Angels, and we played them a lot in the first 5 weeks, everybody was waiting for the $25 million man, Albert Pujols, to get going. And the guy that's really gotten them going is making major league minimum.
Right. We just showed you 7 of 9 first pitch strikes for Liam Hendriks. something that Gardy said, establish early, get ahead in the count, sets all your other pitches up.
2 strikes to Gordon Beckham, leading off the Chicago third. And a weak little fly ball to right. Revere toward the line with the catch. A ground ball out, a couple of strikeouts, and all the other outs have come on lazy fly balls. 1 down in the third. That'll bring up De Aza. The White Sox, like the Twins, typically do very well in interleague play. And the White Sox this year, like the Twins, finished 9-9 against the National League teams.
Well, Trevor Plouffe in on the grass. Take the bunt away from this speedy player.
Outside, ball 1.
See corner infielders playing about even with the bag. Plouffe a little bit on the grass.
Foul back. 1-1. On the outside corner.
Good fastball right there at 89, but a great location.
And when you throw 89, 90, maybe 91, you better have that location. You can't miss over the plate.
No. It seemed like last night's ball game, they really tried to work him inside, and that's where Joe Mauer wants his fastball.
Jammed it. Soft liner.
Good pitch. Well, up here in our booth, we have Jeff and Anita Norland. They're from Iowa City. They're celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary. So they have 4 children and no grandchildren yet, and we're begging for the son and daughter-in-law to let's go, get going. But welcome up to the booth. Happy anniversary to you.
1 gone here, or 2 gone rather, in the third inning, and here is Kevin Youkilis.
Doesn't hurt the bag, does it?
It's never gotten me anywhere, but apparently you've had
your
better
kids
luck.
aren't old enough yet. You don't want to be a grandfather yet.
No. There's a breaking ball over, 2 strikes. Youkilis singled to center field his first time up.
I love being a papa, a grandfather. You know why? Because I give them all chocolate. Gail and I just feed them. Then before we give them back to their parents, we pinch them and make them cry.
Well, now, what a wonderful story that is.
That is awesome. Just payback to all the kids.
Wow.
You're going to get your turn. You'll spoil them.
Foul back. What's the pinching for again?
Just so they go home crying.
Wow. And I'll bet they probably don't come by your house much anymore.
Oh, yeah, they always do.
They?
They just run out now. I can't catch it.
1-2 to Youkilis. Casilla smothers it. A 1-2-3 third inning. That saw us all here. A heartwarming story about the Lilac effect.
Watch it, I'll pinch it.
Baseball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. By CenturyLink, a different kind of communications company. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Grand Casino, the best stories start here. No score going to the third inning, and for Gavin Floyd, a scoreless first trip through the Twins batting order. And as Bert mentioned before, there haven't been many of those for Floyd in his last 8 starts against the Twins. 0-8 with an ERA of just under 9. In Chicago earlier this year, Floyd pitched a scoreless first, and the Twins put 4 up on the board in the second. Span takes outside. He doubled to the gap in left center. His first time up, leading off the first inning, but only got as far as third base. Span, Revere, and Mauer here in the third. 2-0.
Okay.
We've seen Floyd throw his fastball for strikes and the slider getting some swinging strikes. He hasn't had much luck with that slower breaking ball getting it anywhere near the strike zone.
Well, you can work on that when you get ahead in the count. Now he's behind on Span, so he's going to go to that fastball or slider. That looked like a cutter there.
Lifted foul. And
that's one thing I learned early on watching, especially Jim Pott, Jim Perry, is that and Gaylord, his brother, when I got traded to Texas, if they didn't have, say, their third pitch or a breaking ball, when they got ahead 1 ball 2 strikes, they threw it. Even though, you know, they worked on it, and then usually a couple innings later, here it is again. But you have to be ahead in the count to be able to do that. There's that slider right there that comes right back over the heart of the plate.
2-2.
Yeah, catchers put down signs, 1 for fastball, usually 2 for curve, 3 for slider, and then some catchers will go 4 or they'll go a wiggle for a changeup. See what Flowers uses here. A 2, a curveball.
And Span got a piece of it.
And the difference between the slider and the curveball goes a quicker, bigger break, and a slider's like a fastball that just cuts. Maybe, you know, 6 to 8 to 6 inches to a foot at times, a slider. There's now a changeup.
2-2. And it's up and away, an 85-mile-per-hour changeup.
Yeah, just a little bit ahead of his body right there. You can see Floyd just rushing a little bit. And that's a lot of times when you're having trouble with your curveball because you're not staying over that rubber long enough to allow your arm to catch up.
Deep to right. Fair or foul? Foul. And Span, who uses his upper body to generate all of his power. We saw him last night nearly hit one over the scoreboard in right center field, and this one was hit a ton.
That sure was. This is a little spinner right here, and Span. Wow. That might be one of the hardest balls you see him hit, and distance-wise.
What do you got? You got anything on it?
I think Gardy's going to ask him to look at this.
It was hit so high, and maybe what Gardy's position is here, maybe that ball went over the foul pole. It's a free look. If the umpires agree that there's a chance this could have been a fair ball, they can go look at it.
See where it lands.
Ooh. You know, he may have a point there. That landed foul from that angle.
Yeah, I don't think where the ball landed, there's any way you could hook that much around the pole.
Fenway Park, maybe.
And they're going to go ahead and look. They're going to make sure.
So Laz Diaz remains on the field. Mike Everett, Paul Schreiber, Tim Welke will go look at it.
Yeah, Tim Welke, the second base umpire, is a crew chief here with this group of 4 umpires.
Spann maybe got the best view of it all as he trotted up the line. It's really hard to see. It looked like it passed in front of the foul pole right there, but it's hard to see because of the brightness. There needs to be overwhelming visual evidence that the improper call was made on the field. I don't think we will see that, or I don't think that will be the result of this review. And Floyd, Flowers, and Diaz have a chat, along with Youkilis. Twins won one of 3 games in Chicago in May and won the first game here last night. We'll show it to you one more time. The ball, boy, it's hard to see whether it went behind the pole or in front of it. The Twins won the opener 9-2. That was the game that Gavin Floyd started. Then they were shut down by Chris Sale and lost a wild ball game 11-8 in the series finale. I would imagine the umpire's a bit perplexed too as they rewind the tape, if you will, trying to find out where that ball was in relation to the foul pole. And here come the umpires.
You know, they not only get the view that we're showing you, they're also, you know, they get the other feeds.
Right.
The Chicago side. There's so many cameras here. They're not going to get, you know, everyone, but they can use all of them. All the cameras.
So the play stands as rule, a foul ball, 3-2 to Spann.
Saw Robin Ventura looking over and Gardy saying, one more. You get one more. That's it.
And Spann takes a ball, 3rd strike. Got that breaking ball over. 1 down. That'll bring up Ben Revere. Ron Coomer, Ben Revere was told by the Twins field staff they wanted him to stay on top of the ball and hit line drives and ground balls. How in the world do you do that?
Well, it takes a lot of practice, a lot of work, and he has done it. When you look at some of the approaches he's taken here the last few weeks, you see very few pop-ups. The other thing, batting practice, as we all know, we come down here every day. You watch him take BP. This is a pitch inside hard and up. And if you watch his hands, how he stays inside that baseball, the barrel drags behind, and he's able to fight those pitches off without the barrel getting out in front. That, to me, is when you see a really good, a Rod Carew, a Tony Gwynn, a Wade Boggs, they take a tough pitch behind an account and able to shoot it the other way and stay inside the ball. That's how you end up hitting 330, and that's why Ben Revere is having so much success.
Taken for ball 2, 2-1. The second pitch, we just saw something you don't see very often. Ben Revere swinging and missing. He doesn't do that very often. Oh, foul. Nearly got TC down there.
He doesn't have his glove. If he had his glove, he would have been able to catch it.
There's 9 strikeouts on the season and only 5 walks. 2-2. And now a full count. Bauer on deck.
Floyd with 45 pitches, 27 strikes, no walks, 3 strikeouts, giving up only 2 hits.
To the gap. Revere's going to run for a while. And he'll stop at second as he drives one hard. against the fence in right center field.
Well, that's what Ron Coomer was talking about right there. We saw him swing and miss, but right here, look at the concentration. The barrel of the bat out early this time as he lines it into right center. And Revere with his 6th double. Good swing right there, Ron Coomer?
Yeah, that's a great swing. And you see the knob of the bat starting down to the baseball and then the barrel catching up. You know they've been pitching him inside. They did yesterday towards the end of the game. They have today already with the hook foul ball and then that ball. You know, he's able to make adjustments. The big key, too, his swing has stayed so short and compact. He's really been locked in.
Another man in scoring position for Mauer against Gavin Floyd. And Revere spun his wheels a little bit. Ended up almost swimming back to the second base bag.
I tell you what, Ramirez did that yesterday and made it a close play. He did a good job of sneaking in behind him. He'll use that open glove. And Floyd was a little late in his turn.
Biggest out of the game so far for Floyd came in the Mauer at bat in the first inning. Span was at third, 1 out. Foul off a foot, it looked like, or sounded like. 1 strike.
Ron Coomer, look at this swing right here by Ben Revere.
Well, you look at the barrel of the bat, and the pitcher on the right is just starting to catch up to the baseball, but his head, that's his great position with his eyes snapping down to the baseball. Just a phenomenal swing of him staying on top of the baseball and not hitting them fly balls. He's been on the money here for a long time.
1 strike to Mauer.
Well, you look at that right there, Dick. I mean, it's a round ball coming in at about 90 miles an hour, and you have to square it up with a round bat. One of the hardest things to do in any sport.
When you do, as Ron said, snap your eyes back down on the barrel of the bat. That's how you hit 300 at every level you played at, and that's what Revere has done. Up and away.
Guys, I have a question for you. Bert, with all the action, when Revere's been on base the last few days, yesterday, the very first inning, he got like 4 or 5 throws, maybe even 6 throws to first. Now today, there's all kinds of action at second base trying to keep him close. That's got to be a distraction for the pitcher, isn't it?
Well, it is a little bit. I'm surprised that they don't try to pick him off right here because Ramirez, you know, there's that good gap. There he goes right there. And Floyd doesn't throw.
Revere goes in, nearly jammed an ankle.
Yeah, Ben's got a pretty good lead right there. If I'm the pitcher, I'm sorry, I got to put on the play with a shortstop. Just drop your glove, open your glove, and I'll spin and throw. Yeah, you do. I mean, you know, speed on the base paths, it can take your concentration away of what you're trying to do is get the hitter at home plate out.
Mauer, pitch up and in and fouled it back.
Guys, the one thing this would tell me, if I'm Joe Mauer and the shortstop is holding the runner, holding Revere, you know you're going to get something in or something soft to Joe, because usually the way Joe can hit that hole between short and third, they're not throwing him anything that he's going to hit the other way. So you can look in for the most part. You know, now he's at 2 strikes, but that would tell me what they're going to throw me.
I guarantee you they're going to work him hard in. And he went in again. He struck him out on a slider down and in, or a cutter down and in. And you know what, Dick, you mentioned all those hits that Joe had in a row off of Floyd. I guarantee you that there were 15 hits. 12 of them were pitches away that Joe just drove the other way. So I think their game plan here, we're just going to bust this guy hard in today.
2-2.
Watch Flowers. Now he's maybe set up for a breaking ball.
Got him on the outside corner. Well, Flowers set up Floyd for a couple of critical at-bats against Mauer, striking him out in the first and again here in the third.
Well, he struck him out the first time on a slider down and in. This time a backdoor slider. Starts it outside and then clipping the corner. Fox Track says it was a bit outside, but he hit the glove of Flowers. And Flowers framed it right there for a second and got the call.
Twins have gotten 4 batters into scoring position against Floyd in the early innings. Haven't scored one yet. Pitch up and away to Willingham. Willingham came up with Span at third and 2 out and hit a fly ball to center. outside corner, 1-1.
Good slider there, too.
Well, in Floyd's case, when you've gone 0-8 against a team within your division and you've pitched out of trouble all night long, 1-1 to Willingham. And another outside corner generously called.
A 91-mile-an-hour fastball.
One and two. Sometimes we talk about pitching under duress. Just about every pitch Floyd has thrown here in the early innings has been under duress. The Twins have had guys in scoring position. And strike three. A couple of big strikeouts, stranding Revere at second base. Still no score after three. Text the word value followed by a space and the player's name to short code 234-234. Liam Hendriks with 3 scoreless innings, the leading vote getter so far. Twins are playing the Kansas City Royals this weekend. There's another big baseball event in town, and we're happy to have Vince Gennaro, the SABR president. The 42nd annual convention being held in the Twin Cities. Vince, welcome to our beautiful, fairly new ballpark here in the Twin Cities.
What a gorgeous ballpark, and thanks for having me.
Adam Dunn will be the leadoff hitter for the White Sox here in the 4th inning. He takes an off-speed pitch over for strike one. Now, SABR is the Society for the American Baseball Research.
Vince, tell us a little bit about SABR.
You bet, sure. SABR's been around, Bert, since 1971. We're 42 years old, and we're really dedicated to the study of the great sport of baseball to help build people's appreciation and understanding of the game.
There's a drive to right field, but it's hit right at Revere.
Hey, he's got contact. That's all Adam Dunn wanted right there.
Well, Vince, one of Bert's favorite stats, newer stats in baseball, is the quality start. And I guess you guys kind of came up with that formula for what a quality start would be.
Well, that's right. People who are into the whole statistical side of the game, people who analyze the game from the number standpoint, are the people who came up with that. And many of those same types of people are SABR members. That's right.
But a quality start is 6 innings, and you give up 3 earned runs or less. That's a 4.5 ERA if you're able to go 6 every time out and give up 3 earned runs.
No, I hear you, and I think it's a little generous, don't you, for pitchers?
I think, and this is kind of the way I was brought up, it should be 7 innings and 2 earned runs or less. To me, that's a quality start.
Well, and also, how about this? How about the difference between the American and National League, where the pitchers have to hit the National League and they may get pulled sooner? So, and the run scoring environment is lower in the National League. So maybe they shouldn't be identical, American League to National League.
Here's Konerko taking a strike in the outside
That's
corner.
what's so great about baseball and the numbers. I mean, it's all relative to the situation that you're in. I know that Cyber helped me, I think, get into the Hall of Fame. It brought my brought my numbers out more than 287 wins and 250 losses.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, your ability to pitch deep into games, that's something that today doesn't get valued as much as it should be. And pitching deep into games, as you well know, preserves the bullpen. It completely changes gives the manager flexibility. And today, when you've got guys going 5 2/3 and thinking that they had a great day, it's a different world than when you pitched and the way you pitched.
Over the course of your convention, maybe you could discuss what we discussed on the air a couple of weeks ago. There ought to be a graduated scale for a start. There's a foul back. You have a quality start. And if you have one like Bert says, if you go 7 innings and 3, that could be a really good start. And then if you win a complete game, that would be an awesome start. Is there any chance that we could have a graduated scale for starts?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a stat that exists today. It's a stat called Game Score. It was invented by Bill James, who is the father of sabermetrics, a longtime Saber member and pioneer really in the whole statistical analysis of baseball. And he's come up with a formula, a very simple formula. And by the way, the stat is available on baseballreference.com for anybody who wants to see it, for any game pitched.
It's a great site.
And people were talking about the numbers that Matt Cain had the other day when he pitched his perfect game. I think his game score was something like a 101, which was the 10th highest game score in the last 30 years or something like that. I don't really remember exactly the facts. But the point is that there are stats like that, and we're always looking to analyze the game even more deeply and understand it even better.
All right, I'm going to bring it down. WHIP, W-H-I-P. What does that stand for the average baseball fan? I mean, they hear, he has a so-and-so WHIP.
Well, it's walks and hits per innings pitched, as simple as that. So it's how many base runners a pitcher's allowing based on the number of, per inning that he pitches. And a pitcher like...
hanging breaking ball, and it's hit a ton. Rios has given the White Sox a 2-0 lead with an upper deck home run. So a walk and a hit, and Liam Hendriks' whip just went up here in the 4th inning.
Oh, that's a hanger right there. Take a look at the location of breaking ball. And Rios hitting his 9th home run, and the White Sox take a 2-0 lead. All right, we did a little bit about WHIP. How about OPS?
Well, that's on base percentage plus slugging percentage. Years ago we used to think batting average was what it was all about, and we didn't really give enough respect to people who earned walks and got on base that way. A great example is a Minnie Minoso, who had a great decade in the decade of the 50s with the Chicago White Sox. One of the things he did.
Chopper over the mound. Casilla barehands it. Throws to first. A great play.
What a play.
So a high chopper over the mound, and Casilla charged and turned in a good play.
Yeah, with Viciaedo running right here, he's not the quickest, but you can see Casilla plays it perfectly. Opens up the palm of his hand. And that's the key right there. He almost saw his fingers spread out, and so it hit the palm of his hand and then made the play. Very nice play.
2 down, 2 in. Here's Alexi Ramirez. Before you leave, Vince, I'd like you to explain one thing to me. The toughest one to figure out for me is wins above replacement.
Okay. Wins above replacement. What we've done, the people who've come up with this stat, is they've taken essentially everything a player does. If he's a batter, it's his offensive performance, his defensive performance, and the like, and they've netted it out and distilled it down to one number, which really gets to his contribution to his team's wins. And the above replacement part simply means that you're sort of counting we'll call it a minor league call-up guy as the baseline, and it's everything you would perform at above that from a base running, fielding, and hitting standpoint. That's your wins above replacement. So a guy like a an MVP type season like a Josh Hamilton is having, he might be 8 or 9 wins above replacement himself.
So the higher the number, the better.
Absolutely.
Okay. 2 strikes.
How far do you go back? I mean, can you say who was the greatest player that ever played the game just by numbers?
If anyone ever wanted to do it just by numbers, which as we all know, there's a lot more to it. But all these stats we're talking about, or most of them, can be generated retroactively if they come from the batted ball data, right? So yes, we can go back and look at Babe Ruth's wins above replacements,
and he would have to be the best. Vince, thank you very much for stopping by the Sabre Convention in the Twin Cities this weekend. The White Sox take a 2-0 lead. Target field from our Go Pro shot. The Twins had chances to score early, but instead of Alex Rios' home run puts the White Sox up 2-0, and now we move to the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, Rios is the only hitter that took Liam Hendriks deep in that game that he pitched in his opening day start last year. Rios hit a solo home run off of Liam Hendriks. This time he hits a 2-run home run.
Justin Morneau to start the 4th. He'll be followed by Trevor Plouffe and Ryan Doman. That's lifted to left harmlessly to Viciedo, and Morneau's gone on 1 pitch.
Yeah, right off the end of the bat, Justin hits it out to left field for the first out.
One afterthought about the Sabre Convention being held in the Twin Cities. It's amazing how the baseball's new math has entered the game on a management level. The whole Moneyball theme that started in Oakland went through the Red Sox, and most organizations now really get into the new math in baseball to make personnel decisions. Strike 1 to Plouffe. Plouffe went down swinging his first time up. Fouled back. Twins have had a runner on in scoring position in every inning against Gavin Floyd, and he's pitched his best to get the final out or 2 in an inning to keep the game scoreless.
He's got some big strikeouts, 5 strikeouts so far.
Tall one hit near the mound, and Konerko calls for it. Now Beckham calls him off. 2 down.
You know, Kenny Williams, the general manager of Chicago White Sox, is here. You wonder if he uses that. There's Kenny.
I'm sure he does.
You know, with the bringing over of Kevin Youkilis, they were struggling at third base. Third baseman's up to this were only hitting only 168. So bringing in a veteran like Youkilis, I'm sure you know, somewhere those numbers all click together.
Again, they work Doumit inside. Doumit thought he was hit by a pitch in the second inning.
And he was.
And the next pitch, everybody agreed with him. 1-0.
Flowers again sitting inside.
2-0. Well, as much as Doumit is a pull hitter, the White Sox aren't playing him to pull in the infield like most teams do, but instead they're working him inside, and now the target away on the outside corner. Well, we've seen Floyd with some razor sharp control here in some key spots, hitting the outside corner, the inside corner.
Remember early on he wasn't getting that curveball over. That was the curveball on a 2-0 pitch, and now there's another breaking ball.
I mentioned the White Sox have some issues. They need Floyd to get his season turned around.
Now a slider down and in.
Wow, what an inning. A 1-2-3 fourth. And the White Sox have a 2-0 lead as we move to the fifth. We're at Target Field on a gorgeous summer night. The White Sox have a 2-0 lead.
Get down, young man. Get down.
Robbie and Smokowski, Ron Coomer, Dick and Bert with you for Game 2 of the series. Tyler Flowers will lead things off in the fifth against Liam Hendriks, who's pitched well, except for the mistake he made hanging a slider to Alex Rios.
Yeah, and you hope that doesn't beat you, but breaking ball left up to Rios.
This one tattooed by Flowers. My goodness, that carried a long way. It's up into the fourth level here, just below the roof deck. Foul ball, thankfully. One strike, just a long strike, a very long strike.
Did you see the size of that guy? I hope he doesn't eat the baseball.
Or crush it in his hands. 2 strikes.
Look at that. Saying, yeah, I barehanded it. He must work out.
Fouled off a leg, still 2 strikes. Flowers, Beckham, and Diaz here in the Chicago fifth. Hendriks hoping the Twins can win. He can win. He's made a bunch of starts, hasn't gotten his first major league win yet. As the Twins are coming off a good road trip against some good teams. They went 3-3, won the opener here last night. Have Kansas City coming to town. It's be a good night for him to get his first major league win. 1-2. ball. Third strike at the knees. Flowers called out for the second time in a row.
Yeah, almost the same pitch, and Flowers, the catcher, having some words with home plate umpire Mike Everett.
AT&T trivia here in the fifth inning. Who was the only player to hit 2 inside the park home runs in a game against the Twins? I'll bet you know, because I think you were the pitcher.
Yes, I was.
All right.
And he was with the Kansas City Royals. So it has nothing to do with the White Sox whatsoever.
Well, then I got a different answer then. I thought it was against the Twins, or it was against the White Sox. On the outside corner, 1-1.
Well, I thought it was Danny Tartabull.
No.
No?
No. I think I got this one. I'll pick you up on this one. 2-1.
Against the White Sox. Oh. Yes, I remember that. Bobby Darwin was playing center field.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
2-1 to Beckham. At the knees, 2-2.
Yeah, the first one, Bobby Darwin came in to try to shoestring. It got by him at the old Met. And the other one, this guy hit it so hard it came out like a knuckleball and went right by Bobby, and Darwin got the same result.
Slice to right. Revere with the catch, out number 2. And every Twins game, businesses of all sizes can host their employees and clients for a fun night of baseball. Take advantage of all the Target Field has to offer your business group. The Twins are an inexpensive and simple way to entertain. Organize your group of more than 25 today. Call 800-33-TWINS and ask about a Twins Target Field group outing.
The bad part about those 2 inside the park home runs, I think there were 2 men on, 2 at a time.
Tapper to Morneau. And Hendricks bounces back with a 1-2-3 fifth inning.
And right here in my hand are $100 in Minnesota State Lottery scratch-off tickets to convert. This is Patty from Farmington celebrating her 50th birthday tonight here at the ballpark with her 3 sisters. But here's the unique thing. The 4 sisters are here. All their husbands are about 3 sections over. So all the girls here are hanging out, having a good time, eating their peanuts, having a few beverages, and having fun. How's this 50th birthday going for you, Patty?
It's great.
It's great.
And great time.
Yeah, now she said, I have to have my sisters here as my support system, but her sign is so big that she hit 2 of the 3. So we got to teach her a little bit about camera angles, Bert, but that's okay.
Very good. Happy birthday to you, young lady. And just if nobody forgot, 284 more days until my next birthday.
I thought you were going to say if nobody cares, but ball 1 to Casilla. He'll be followed by Carroll and Span. Jabbed at it. It's a strike. 1-1. Casilla whistled a liner right up the middle after Doman had been hit by a pitch. And a high hopper over the mound. Beckham flips to first. Casilla retired, 1 away. Saturday, August 4th, the UFC returns to Fox with 4 massive fights, including knockout artist Shogun Rua taking on Brandon Vera in the biggest fight of his career, plus an epic bout between former UFC champ Lyoto Machida and rising star Ryan Bader. UFC Fight Night on Fox, sponsored by Bud Light, is live from Los Angeles Saturday, August 4th at 7 p.m. Central. Where are we going to be on August 4th? Well, I
think we're going to be in Boston.
I'm going to say where am I going to be, because I can never tell from one series to another.
I'm going to be in Boston.
You're going to be
in
Boston. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yes, we're going to be in Boston. Here's Carroll, 1-0. Aren't you due for some more time off here?
Actually, yes, starting Monday.
Really?
Yes. And I'll pick up the team again on the 27th after the Hall of Fame induction, and of course during that time is the All-Star break.
1-1 to Carroll, and a pitch up high, 2-1. Carroll with a ground ball to first. He was up with 2 men in scoring position and 2 out. And Floyd got one of several big outs he has gotten here tonight. Swing and a miss, 2-2. You know, if you're Floyd and you've had a bad run of luck against a team, it's one thing if the team is out of your division. But when you've been as bad as he's been against a team within your division, you really want to end that streak as soon as you can, because you're going to face these guys 4 times.
Yeah, he's throwing a lot of breaking balls. He's hitting his spots with the fastball and picking up some strikeouts.
And he drops a curve over the inside corner.
And strikeout number 7 for Gavin Floyd. Starts this ball right at Carroll, and he kind of flinches a little bit. And it hits the inner half of the plate.
Follow the Twins with MLB.com at Bat 12 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, or Windows Mobile. You get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at Bat 31826 or visit twinsbaseball.com for details.
Yeah, the last time that Floyd defeated the Twins, you have to go back to July 11th, 2009.
Here's a drive off the bat of Span. And a nice running catch by Rios in the gap. 8 men in a row set down by Gavin Floyd, and it's still 2-0 Chicago. Area. Egan against Hibbing in the boys matchup. Another one, Benilde St. Margaret's against Grand Rapids, the host team. Hibbing against Grand Rapids in the girls game that'll be played. North Dakota against the Gophers. Pittsburgh against the Wild. A full day of hockey on January 19th from Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
They love their hockey, don't they? You ever play hockey?
Not in an organized game. No. I put on.
Can you skate?
I can skate.
Can you?
Not well, but I can. What I often do is skate on the lake in the wintertime, and I try to get out there without falling down.
See, in the dugout this afternoon, I was talking to Justin about that, about skate. He loves to skate.
Oh yeah. 1-1 to Youkilis, and a little pop-up headed for Casilla. One down. And that'll bring up Adam Dunn.
I think I tried ice skating one time, and I was more on the ice than I was actually on my feet.
See, you a lot of the things that I enjoy doing, you've done once, and you've decided you want no part of it.
Well, my mother was a speed skater in Holland.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So, when we came to Canada, and I remember as a youngster, we went to a skating rink, and I watched my mother skate. She was pretty good.
1-0. Dunn is 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts in the series so far, and Liam Hendriks misses outside 2-0. But I mean, I like hunting, and you said you went hunting once or whatever. Mm-hmm. Fishing, you've gone once or twice.
No, I've gone fishing more than once or twice. Hunting only once.
Okay.
I think you have to be able to hit your target.
And find someone who would want to be with you with a loaded firearm. 3-0. Hendriks trying to come back here without making a mistake to Dunn. 3-0. Dunn green lighted, and a weak 3 hopper to Casilla, 2 down. That'll bring up Paul Konerko. I believe.
Yes, I know who it was.
The AT&T trivia answer is
Allen?
Dick Allen. Yeah.
1972. Like I said, I think there were 2 men on, so that's 6 runs they drove in off of me.
They each were 3-run homers?
I believe so.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't last too long, I don't believe, after that.
Well, you kept him in the park.
Yeah, I did. He was strong. Ooh.
Now, what was the breakdown for him? He was Richie Allen in Philadelphia.
Yeah, then called him Dick Allen.
And then Dick Allen for the rest of the way, or did he go back to Richie?
I'm not sure. I called him Mr. Allen.
Oh, did you?
Just like I called Mr. Horton, Willie Horton, Mr. Horton.
Off-speed pitch tickles the corner. Well, the White Sox honored Dick Allen as part of the 1972 runner-up team. I didn't quite understand the significance of that. They contended in '72. But didn't win a championship, but they had a reunion anyway. And Dick Allen a big part of that team.
Well, he had at least 2 home runs that I know of. I just showed you the numbers on Liam Hendriks. 80 pitches, 52 for strikes.
High fly to center.
Doing a good job.
Span back with room, it appears. A 1-2-3-6, and now Hendriks is retired. 8 men in a row. Ivan Floyd and Liam Hendriks with a pitcher's duel so far.
Yeah, Hendriks 6 innings, a couple runs allowed. He's pitched outstanding. He's only given up 3 hits, but Gavin Floyd has been a little bit better. He has also given up only 3 hits to the Twins. 5 shutout innings.
Twins have left 4 men on. They've all been left in scoring position. Got a couple of doubles. Floyd's been tough. Revere has one of the doubles, and he'll lead off the 6th inning. Floyd set down 8 men since Revere cracked his double to right center field. It's good to see former Twin Mickey Hatcher got a job today with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Assistant to the general manager. There's a bunt foul, 1 strike. Floyd hoping to give his season and his team a big lift here. White Sox have their opening day starter John Danks on the disabled list. They hope to get him back in about a month. 1-1. A couple of inexperienced starters. Jose Quintana.
Yeah, Quintana's pitched well for him.
Kind of done for them what Scott Diamond's done for the Twins. 1-1. Swinging a foul, 1-2.
You know, you go back in Floyd's history pitching against the Twins. He almost no-hit the Twins back in 2008. Had a no-hitter going into the 9th inning. Joe Mauer ended up getting a double off of him. And the White Sox having a little fun.
2-2. Twins got their leadoff man on in the 1st inning after Span doubled, but they could not bring him around. Floyd's been sharp when he's had to be sharp. 2-2 to Revere. Called 3rd strike. Another called 3rd strike, and both teams getting rung up by Mike Everett.
I like umpires that'll call a 3rd strike. You have some umpires that don't call the 3rd strike as often, but Mike Everett, watch this pitch inside. And Floyd picks up his 8th strikeout.
2 times he has struck out Joe Mauer, who had reached in 15 straight plate appearances against him coming into the game. That's to left center, and Mauer will start another streak. A 1-out single in the 6th, and that'll get Willingham to the plate.
Yeah, a lot of times you do not see Joe Mauer swing at the first pitch, and you know, after striking out a couple times, I'm sure he said, you know what, I've got to be a little more aggressive. Jumps on that first pitch fastball and hits it into center field. Twins get their 4th hit of the ball game.
Now Willingham. A fly to center. And a swinging strikeout in the 3rd. Rip to left. Back-to-back pitches. Scalded for singles. And there are 2 men aboard now for Morneau. Coming up in July, the Midsummer Classic 2012 MLB All-Star Game Tuesday, July 10th from Kansas City, 6:30 Central on Fox. Right now you'd have to say that Josh Willingham would be the Twins selection.
Yes.
Mauer,
I hope so.
Mauer with a chance. Every team has to be represented, and I think I've been pretty consistent even when the Twins had players, plural, elected to the All-Star team. I think every team, whether it's the Twins, the Kansas City Royals, the Pirates, everybody should have at least one representative.
I agree.
Here's Morneau, who just 2 summers ago was the fans' choice at first base, but suffered the concussion before the All-Star break. And that's how recent we're talking about, with Justin being one of the best players in the game. 2 summers ago, he and Mauer were both selected by the fans.
Yeah, Justin, a 4-time All-Star for the Minnesota Twins.
1-0 to Morneau. A chopper up the line, foul. In the year that Josh Hamilton put that impressive display on in the home run hitting contest. It was Morneau who actually won the contest.
Yep.
Twins in need of an icebreaker here against Gavin Floyd. 2-1. Floyd hasn't walked anyone. He did hit Domet back in the second inning. Foul back. It's 2-2.
Well, I think one thing we've seen, Floyd has not made too many mistakes over the plate. Everything is either inside, trying that backdoor, that breaking ball numerous times, then that good fastball down and in like he was able to strike out Revere, the slider down and in. So working both sides of the plate very well.
2-2 to Morneau. Got him to wave at one in the dirt. 2 down.
And strikeout number 9. And not a good swing right there by Justin. This was the curveball. See the rotation of that ball. Justin swinging through it. And Flowers knocking the ball down. Justin is the second out.
Blue struck out in the second, popped up in the fourth. Another chance for the Twins are in search of a 2-out hit. Popped up left field. Ramirez backpedaling. And caught by Viciedo. And the Twins strand 2 more in the 6th.
Hendricks 3 shutout innings. They merely made 1 mistake in a ball game, and that was a hanging breaking ball to Alex Rios that hit a 2-run home run. On the Chicago side, Gavin Floyd has been outstanding. 9 strikeouts, no walks, and he's allowed 5 hits. But he's gotten some big outs when he needed them. There's a comparison right there. Hendricks with 81 pitches in 6 innings. Gavin Floyd with 86.
He hung one to Alex Rios with a man aboard, and Rios clubbed it into the second deck. And Hendricks sticks a fastball in the outside corner. Rios, Viciedo, and Ramirez in the Chicago 7th. Indians lost again. They scored late, but still got beaten by the Yankees 6-4. The Indians a game behind the White Sox now. kick toward Casilla, and it'll be an infield hit. Hendricks deflected the ball. It was appeared to be headed up the middle for a base hit, and instead it'll be an infield hit for Rios.
I hit the heel of his shoe. He's just showing it right there. He kind of stuck his foot out, and you're hoping that ball would land, somewhere where he could maybe get Rios out, but instead, ball hit high right there and then slows down as it hits the grass. So an infield hit for Alex Rios.
Viciedo's hit 2 ground balls. Certainly a step forward for Hendricks here tonight. We had the representative from Sabre here, and this through 6 innings would be a quality start with just the 2 runs allowed. And now a leadoff hit here in the 7th. Foul back.
I was going to ask him, with 6 innings and 3 earned runs or less, but say a pitcher goes and say, Gavin Floyd right now, 6 shutout innings. He goes out next inning and gives up 4 runs.
Was that a quality start?
Is that a quality start? I should have asked him that.
Oh, Rios goes. He kind of stumbled, and he's in ahead of Mauer's throw. Looks like he didn't get a clean break, a quick one, but it looked like he kicked up some dirt as he was running toward second base.
I thought he got a great jump right there, and even a good throw by Joe Mauer. Rios steals his 11th base in 14 attempts.
1-1 to Viciedo with nobody out. Off the handle of the bat, foul. 1-2. Four strikeouts for Hendricks, 2 of them looking, both times Tyler Flowers. Again, Viciedo's put the ball in play on the ground twice. And there's a strikeout. He needed one. And he got one in a key spot, 1 away.
Yeah, good high fastball right there, and Hendricks picks up his 5th strikeout. Putting a little extra on it right here, and threw the ball past Viciedo.
A small step forward for Carl Pavano. He played catch today. He's highlighted in our Sanford Health injury report. Hasn't thrown off a mound, just propelled a baseball today for the first time since going on the disabled list. Here's Alexi Ramirez. Terry Ryan saying again today that he's said all along that he thought Pavano would be back in July. He's hoping it'll be the middle of July, not the end of July. One and 0. Several looks back, and a fastball for a strike. So we mentioned that John Danks, the Chicago opening day starters, on the disabled list. So too is Minnesota's opening day starter Pavano. The difference is the White Sox gave Danks a big contract in the offseason, locked him up for several years.
Got some left shoulder tendonitis.
1-1. Mauer with a nice block. 2-1.
And Twins starter P.J. Walters, he's looking, if everything goes well, he's on track to make a rehab start on Sunday. So he's been throwing off the mound. I'm sure biting at the bit, want to get out there and compete.
Doink to right. Rios will round third and score. And a flared single to right makes it a 3-0 Chicago lead.
That ball got in on Ramirez, but he just fought it off and hit it into short right field. Rios scoring for the 2nd time in the ball game. And Ramirez picks up his second hit and his 34th RBI.
Well, Ron Gardenhire coming to the mound here. And they're going to make a pitching change with the White Sox adding a run here in the 7th. Jeff Gray will come in, and as I said, a step forward for Liam Hendriks. He gave his team a chance to win here today, but he didn't get any run support, and he'll leave with the Sox up 3-0.
He made maybe one mistake, and that was to Alex Rios. He ended up going 6 1/3 innings, his longest outing of the year. And that's always a good sign. You cannot control what your offense gives you. All you can do is try to keep him in the ball game. And I think he did that. So 6 1/3 innings, only 5 hits allowed, 3 runs. The runner Ramirez at first base, still his responsibility with a walk and 5 strikeouts.
He can't pick up the win, obviously, so he'll hope that Jeff Gray can keep this 3-0. And the Twins bullpen can put up a couple more zeros. And the Twins can come back and score late against the White Sox. Gray coming in for the 30th time this year.
Yeah, Hendriks threw 92 pitches, 61 for strikes, so about 2-1 as far as strike to ball ratio. And got ahead in the count, 15 of the 25 batters he faced.
Flowers glad that Hendriks is out of the game. He struck out looking twice against him. Big swing and a miss. Flowers the catcher and waiting for the last couple of years. And when it's all said and done, the White Sox in the past have always re-signed A.J. Pierzynski, with Flowers perpetually now in a backup role.
Yeah, I saw that article in the paper today about A.J. Pierzynski, about the durability that he has been able to put on for the White Sox. Over the last 10 years in his career, A.J. has caught 1,000 innings or more, 10 straight seasons. That's durability. He's only been on the disabled list one time, and that was last year.
Foul back. So it would be safe to assume that if not with the White Sox, Pierzynski will continue his career, showing no signs of breaking down. Pierzynski and Konerko are the only 2 holdovers from the World Championship team of 2005. One and two.
Well, Gray with a fastball in the low 90s, a slider, curveball, and a changeup. There's Paul Konerko.
Great catch at short by Carroll.
And they say no catch, so there'll be a force out at second base.
No catch. Did the ball roll out of his glove?
Well, Laz Diaz, the third base umpire, said no catch.
I looked up and saw Carroll looking at second base. I saw the ball disappear into his glove.
Well, watch him dive to his right here. And has it right there, but in the tumble, the ball flipping out, and it might be a break for the Twins anyway. As you see where I thought, well, should have been a catch, but it does come out, and they do get the force out at second base. So you take Ramirez, the speedy shortstop, and you put Flowers in at first base now.
Here's Beckham. Remember, we had the play in Detroit a couple years ago where Denard Span ran to the gap, clearly had the ball trapped in the glove, but the rule states you have to pull the ball out of the glove voluntarily to show the umpire that you caught the ball. This is not like football. The ground can cause a fumble. Flowers takes off. Bauer's throw might have hit the runner. At any rate, Flowers steals second base.
I thought it was a good move to get Ramirez off the base pass, but Flowers steals a base. His second of the season. Got a good jump right there. Gray with that high leg kick. A good throw by Mauer, but Flowers at 6'4".
Throw hit
contact right there.
Yeah. 1-1 to Beckham. White Sox have already added one run here in the seventh. And a stolen base, a big part of that. Off the plate, 2-1. Rio stealing second and then scoring on the pop fly single off the bat of Ramirez, and now the catcher steals a base. The White Sox have gotten some hits with men on base, and the Twins have not. Fly ball center field. Span back pedals to end the inning. Couple of hits, couple of stolen bases, another Chicago run. It's 3-0. now you can get 20 crispy chicken McNuggets for just $4.99 at McDonald's. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T. Rethink possible. 3-0, the White Sox lead it. Gavin Floyd trying to end a personal 8-game losing streak against the Twins, and he's pitched shutout ball. And he has shown, as many veterans do, the ability to really buckle down when men are in scoring position. The Twins got a leadoff double in the first, didn't score. 2 men in scoring position, 2 outs in the second, didn't score. A 1-out double in the third, 2 1-out hits in the sixth, and again, nothing across the plate. Ryan Doumit will start the 7th.
Yeah, Gavin Floyd making his 168th major league start. He has 63 wins, 62 losses in his career.
And a first pitch strike to Doumit. Doumit hit by a pitch in the second inning and then went down swinging in the fourth. One and one. Curveball slipped out of his hand. 2-1. Rangers are leading Detroit 6-4. Tigers had an early 2-0 lead. That's hit to center, but it's hanging in the air for Diazo. 1 down. And before Casilla comes to the plate tomorrow at 12:10. Final game of the White Sox series, and it's a Treasure Island Senior Day. Fans 55 and older can get a $5 discount on Field Box and Powerball Pavilion tickets for all weekday day games. Line up your Treasure Island Senior Day tickets by calling 800-33-TWINS or log on to twinsbaseball.com. Here is Casilla. Just missed the corner, ball 1. Casilla drove a single up the box in the second, bounced to second in the fourth. 1-1.
As I mentioned before, Floyd, 29 years old. He was a #1 pick for the Phillies back in 2001. Traded over to the White Sox in the winter of 2006. Ground ball to Konerko. And an easy second out.
That'll bring up Jamie Carroll.
He was traded over to Chicago for Freddie Garcia back in the winter of December of 2006. His best year came in 2008 when he was a 17-game winner for the White Sox. But other than that, you see Matt Thornton starting to warm up. Other than that, he's always been right around 500.
Carroll is 0 for 2. Strike 1.
But the thing about Floyd, he doesn't miss many starts. You know, he's had 30 or more starts for 4 straight seasons for the White Sox. Almost 200 innings a year.
Right off the end of the bat, and a slow bouncer to second. And Floyd has a 1-2-3 7th inning. Sox still lead at 3-0.
Telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Well, the Major League debut for Tyler Robertson coming up next as he gets set to pitch to the White Sox in the 8th.
Yeah, those are his numbers right there in Rochester. Tyler Robertson, 24 years old, signed by the Twins in 2006. And called up when the Twins put Matt Capps on a disabled list.
You can see his whip. We were talking about whip. Walks and hits per innings pitched. The lower the number, the better. You'd like it ideally to be maybe a little over 1. It's a little bit higher than that. But given the state of affairs for the Twins, they've just moved Brian Dunsing into the rotation where he will remain for a while. And Glenn Perkins, the only other left-handed reliever used often as a closer. Twins need somebody to pitch, say, against Adam Dunn, or in the next series, Eric Hosmer. Somebody that might be struggling against left-handers, or Prince Fielder in Detroit.
Well, Robertson, a big guy, 6'5", about 255. Now, he was always a starter in the minor leagues for the Twins up until last year when they put him in the bullpen, and he had success that way. And he's had a pretty good year down in Rochester going. Fastball, slider, and a changeup.
Had a curve as a starter, but scrapped it.
Right.
1-1. Piazza a lefty, Youkilis a righty, and then Dunn a lefty. Breaking ball, snaps over. It's a good looking slider for a called strike.
Yeah, good hard slider.
1-2 to De Aza. Fisted foul.
Came back with another slider, left it up a bit. You always remember your first major league hitter. And if you're a hitter, you remember the first pitcher that you ever faced at the major league level.
1-2 to De Aza. A strikeout puts him down.
Now, De Aza won't remember that. But Tyler Robertson will remember that the rest of his life. He struck out the first major league hitter he faced on a nasty slider down and away.
I was going to say, if he can get the 2 strikes and throw that pitch more often, he's going to get more than 1 strikeout. If he can throw that pitch later this inning, he might get more than 1 strikeout. Strike 1 to Youkilis.
Good fastball at 90.
There were some right-handed relievers that could have been considered as the Twins called up another pitcher to fill Cap's spot. Kyle Waldrop. Violas Guerra had done okay for a while down in AAA, but they were right-handers, and the crying need for the Twins in the bullpen was to have a lefty. So Robertson got the call.
So he's getting his chance, and he wants to take advantage of it.
2 strikes. Another Rochester Red Wing pitching for the major league club. One and 2. There's Diamond. You saw Walters. Cole DeVries may be called up to pitch one of the games of the doubleheader on Saturday. Hendricks, the starter today, went back and forth. 2-2.
He doesn't look nervous, but I guarantee you his heart is pumping out there. Got him.
He strikes out his second major league hit. There have been a lot of called third strikes, and Youkilis is one of the better eyes in the game, and he walks away shaking his head.
Yeah, but watch this pitch right here. The ball comes in and clips the corner. See, good pitch.
What'd you do for a living?
I was a pitcher. But that even Foxtrax said that.
I believe Foxtrax. I believe Foxtrax. Well, these guys got similar builds, don't they?
You don't believe me?
Tyler Robertson against Adam Dunn. Be good tag team partners. Strike one to Dunn.
Just don't know who they would go against.
That's right. 1-1. Dunn 0 for 7 in the series with 5 strikeouts.
I think they should go against maybe Ben Revere and Jamie Carroll.
And George Scrap Iron Gudasky. And Robertson sticks a fastball in the outside corner. Well, you got Robertson 6'5", 257. Dunn 6'6", 285. Go ahead, throw him that slider down and away. It's the same pitch that struck out Diaz, and Dunn laid off. 2-2.
How about that? How about making your major league debut and striking out the side? Nice going, Tyler Robertson.
It's Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We're going to talk about Fabulous Floyd, and that is Gavin Floyd and his 7 shutout innings, holding the Twins to just 5 hits, adding 9 strikeouts. And Gardy's postgame press conference, as always, and our instructional tonight, holding the base runners and why that's important. Dick and Bert, one thing about Gavin Floyd to note, he has lost 8 straight starts to the Twins. The last time he won a game against the Twins, July 11, 2009, that was back at the Metrodome. So he's close to breaking a personal streak.
Yeah, thank you, Robbie. That's why you look at numbers. I mean, we prepare by looking at numbers. 0-8, 8.86 for Gavin Floyd coming into this ball game. You don't know. There's no guarantee. I mean, Gavin Floyd pitched outstanding. 7 shutout innings, no walks, 9 strikeouts, and he was 0-3 here at Target Field with an ERA at almost 6 in 3 starts. So he's a pitcher record right now. Now it's up to their bullpen to shut down the Twins. First one out is Matt Thornton, a hard-throwing left-hander.
Ball 1. Well, the Twins will try to do against the Chicago bullpen what they could not do against Gavin Floyd. 1-1. Span started the game with a double, but was left at third base. Since then, a strikeout and a fly ball to right.
Thornton, like I mentioned, a hard-throwing left-hander in his 7th season with the Chicago White Sox.
To left. Caught by Viciedo. First out.
Well, Gavin Floyd, again, outstanding performance. He was working both sides of the plate extremely well. Again, 9 strikeouts. 3rd time this season he's had a 9-strikeout game. And, you know, it seemed like he didn't get that curveball over early, but then he found it along with the slider and then the good fastball.
Here's Ben Revere, 1 for 3 with a double. He takes a strike that covers the inside corner. Down and away, 1-1. Rare that you see Revere chase a ball that badly out of the strike zone.
Yeah, I think sometimes hitters guess, and I think Revere right there is guessing fastball. He got the slider down and away. Thornton has a very hard slider. Came up with the Mariners back in 2004. Joined the White Sox in 2006.
Line foul. It's interesting, a couple weeks ago when the Phillies were in town and Jim Thome was asked to reflect on his Twins career, the home runs, and which one stood out the most. And Thome singled out the one against Thornton that won a ball game. Revere strikes out. Mauer will hit with 2 outs. And Thome confessed that at the time, prior to that home run, he had some thoughts that he couldn't do it anymore, and he hit the big home run, and he's still doing it.
Well, Thornton goes back to that slider down and away, and Revere strikes out for the 2nd time in the ball game.
Not often you'll see that. Revere, as we showed you before, one of the toughest strikeouts in the league. He struck out 11 times now on the season. Here's Mauer. 1 for 3 against Floyd. Up high, ball 1. Anthony Swarzak warming up in the Twins pen. And a strike. If this game were 3-0, Ron Gardenhire suggested they would try to get through the night. If it were 3-0 Twins, they would try to get through the night without using Jared Burton, who picked up saves in the last 2 ball games. Mauer with 7 hits. 9 hits, I should say, against Thornton in his career. This one bounced behind third. Nice pickup by Youkilis. What a play.
Wow. Right on the mark.
His throw from foul territory after a nice backhanded pickup. And Thornton sets the Twins down 1-2-3 in the 8th.
Now, what group is that?
B.O.B.
B.O.B.?
Named after Robbie Ince-Mikowski. Farmers Insurance report card. Kevin Floyd, the star of the show tonight. After losing 8 straight starts to the Twins and getting pummeled in many of them, he pitched a great ball game here tonight.
Yeah, and the offensive help came from Alex Rios, a 2-run home run in the 4th inning. And then Ramirez, an RBI single in the 7th for a 3-0 lead. Anthony Swarzak coming in. What a great job and debut by Tyler Robertson. 1 shutout inning, he struck out all 3 batters. Can you imagine the phone calls he's going to be making and stuff? Very nice.
Would have been nice if the Twins had come back and scored 4 in the bottom of the 8th. Maybe he could have gotten a win, but that would have been unfair to Liam Hendriks, who's now made 11 starts without a win. Here's Paul Konerko.
Yeah, Swarzak making his 22nd appearance.
Strike 1 to Konerko. Drew a walk, scored on Rios' home run in the 4th inning. Konerko hitting a bit of a skid. He averaged down to 335. To left and carrying well, but Willingham has it measured. 1 down. And that'll bring up Rios. Rios with the 2-run home run, a leadoff single in the 7th, a stolen base, and then he trotted home on Ramirez's single. Addison Reed, the closer, along with Jesse Crain. As the score stands now, it would be a save for either one of those pitchers, but if it's a save situation, we would expect to see Reed and not Crain. White Sox add another run. I'm guessing that Crain would get the call. One and 0. And now we played 3 games in Chicago. This is 2 of them here. Does this rivalry still have the edge to it that it did with Ozzie Guillen managing the club?
No, I don't think so. You know, I mean, Robin Ventura, I had a chance to sit down with him today and talk to him, and he loves what he's doing. He said from 4:30 to the end of the game, he said, I love that part. It's the other part, you know, that.
And you came into his office before 4:30, right?
Yeah. No, I talked to him on the field after 4:30. He's in a good mood.
Yeah, he had some wonderful things to say about the ballpark. Yesterday was his first day here. I talked to him before 4:30. Fouled away, and he said, you know, he had kind of a soft spot in his heart for the Metrodome. Then he paused and laughed. I wasn't sure if he was serious. He had me there for a second. But, you know, he'll have a different relationship with Ron Gardenhire because as Ventura was winning all those Gold Gloves for the White Sox, the Twins had Ron Gardenhire as their third base coach. So they spent a lot of time talking to each other across the foul line. 2-2. Definitely a change in personality from the former White Sox skipper, who I always felt, at least publicly, would rather have managed the Twins all those years than the White Sox.
He nicknamed the Twins at that time the Piranhas.
2-2 to Alex Rios. Fly ball right field. And Revere coming in, still coming in, making the catch out number 2. And that'll bring up Viciedo. Viciedo 0 for 3. If the White Sox win this game, it'll improve their June mark to 10-13. It'll improve their standing in the American League Central to a game and a half over Cleveland. Texas is leading Detroit 6-4 in the 7th. And the Twins will be back where they started before this series started yesterday, 8.5 games back. One and one. Josh Willingham will lead off the 9th for the Twins. Morneau will hit. Plouffe. A lot of work to do. Pitch up and Viciedo fouls it to the screen. Go.
Watch out at home.
Better to watch that in high def than 3D. Knock you back in your chair. 2-2. You have high def. I bet you don't. Do you have 3D?
No, I do not. I still have black and white.
Got the rabbit ears on top? Yep.
Do you have 3D?
No, I have high def. Drilled to center, Span with a run, and he snags it. Viciedo retired. Swarzak has a 1-2-3 top of the ninth. The A's on Friday, July 13th for a limited time. You can get home plate view tickets for just $23. The deal against the A's is available by logging on to twinsbaseball.com or by calling 833-TWINS. And while you're at it, check out some of the other great ticket offers here at this great ballpark. You might not have perfect weather like we have here tonight, but some St. Cloud State alums or students and some alums singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." And here's Addison Reed, the Chicago closer.
Yeah, 9 saves and 10 save opportunities for Addison Reed. And for the White Sox, they have 14 saves out of that bullpen. Reed, a September call-up last year by the White Sox. Started last year in Single A and moved up quickly. Signed by the White Sox in just a couple years ago out of San Diego State University, where he was their closer.
Steven Strasburg's closer. The numbers a little skewed. 11 runs allowed, but 6 of them in one outing against the Royals in mid-May. Here's Willingham. Fastball, strike one. Youkilis moving over to first base, where he won a Gold Glove a few years ago for the Red Sox. Eduardo Escobar now at third. Big swing and a miss.
Big breaking ball there by Reed.
Middle of the Twins lineup, the 4, 5, and 6 batters. They are combined 1 for 9 so far tonight. Willingham with a single to left his last time up. Inside and a dribbler foul. Two strikes to Josh Willingham.
The pitch up, and it's down and away. Saw Flowers kind of sit up a little bit, wanted that high fastball.
One and two. And another pitch up and fouled back. Time when tomorrow's starter Chris Sale was thought to be the closer for the White Sox. He had some elbow issues. Inside, missing, and it's 2-2. Thornton with some saves. Santiago started the year as the closer. Now it's Addison Reed. 2-2. Go. Very close. And that pitch or that location has been called a strike quite frequently.
Let's see what Fox Track says. Oh, pitcher's pitch.
Full count to Willingham. And he gets him with a breaking ball.
Hard slider right there. So Willingham strikes out for the second time in a ball game, and it's the 11th strikeout of a Twin here tonight. Gavin Floyd had 9. Matt Thornton had 1, and Reed getting a strikeout, his first batter he faces.
Morneau with a couple of outfield flies and a strikeout. Half swing, no swing, ball 1. And now missing inside, 2-0. 10 pitches, 5 strikes for Reed.
Hardly had any minor league experience. Played a little bit in 2010 last year. Started at single A. Moved up to double A, then triple A, and then a September call up for the White Sox.
Not quite as fast a track as Chris Sale, but pretty quick. Yep. 3-0 now to Morneau with Bluth on deck. And he missed outside a 4-pitch walk. Nearly walked Willingham. He walks Morneau, and now Bluth to the plate with Doman on deck.
First walk that the Twins have been able to get to tonight.
Bluth with a strikeout, an infield pop up, and a fly to left. Fastball. Target was on the outside corner. He put it over the inside corner. Now he hits the outside corner. Couple of fastballs for a couple of strikes.
Fastball high. See Flowers sitting up. And again, outer half of the plate. Trying to set up that slider. Slider that struck out. He has a nasty slider, too, to Willingham on a 3-2 pitch. Oh, just overpowered Plouffe.
2 down. Flowers set up away, but Reed missed inside at 96. His second strikeout.
With a little movement, too.
Doman, last hope for the Twins, trying to keep the game alive for Parmalee, who's come out onto the on-deck circle. Given a chance, he'll hit for Casilla. Dump behind third, and the game's going to be kept alive with Morneau digging for third, and now Doman going to second, and Chris Parmalee comes up as the tying run. So Doman dumps the first pitch behind third, and Morneau scampers to third base.
And we saw Ramirez do this earlier in the ballgame when he took one to right field down that right field line. Here Doman, inside out swing, and a double for Ryan Doman, and the tying run is at the plate.
Twins are sending Mastroianni to pinch run at second base. But the focus will be on the batter Parmalee because he is the potential tying run. Casilla had gone 1 for 3. Parmalee came up in September and hit for power. And so far this year for Chris, he's done neither. Hitting 177, 96 at bats without a home run. So he is due.
Yeah, he came up last year in 21 ball games, hit 4 home runs while hitting .355. Rally caps are on.
Checked his swing. Ooh, they call it a strike. Oh, from up here, it didn't look like it was close.
Well, slider down and in. I don't think he went.
1 strike, says Laz Diaz. Now time called, and Mike Everett wants to look at the baseball. No pine tar on it, so we'll play with that one. Full swing, fouled it straight back.
Yeah, Reed has allowed only 1 home run this year. In 26 innings coming in, making his 30th relief appearance.
Two strikes for the pinch hitter Parmalee. And that hit him. Parmalee gets hit in the ankle, and they're loaded up, and Carroll is due up. Even in striking out a couple of batters this inning,
hit him in the foot.
Shattered his foot pad. Dozier will run for Parmalee. Even in striking out a couple of batters, Reed has been off target. At least the target set up by Flowers.
Yeah, I wouldn't say by the way I've seen him throw, he's got the best control. He just kind of airs it all out.
Dozier running at first. Now he's the tying runner, and Carroll at the plate. Hitless in the ball game. Breaking ball wide. If Carroll can keep the game alive, Span will hit. No home runs, 9 doubles, a triple for Carroll on the season. At the knees, 1-1. Carroll, almost twice Addison Reed's age. Looper to right, down for a hit. 2 runs will score.
Well, again, your typical Jamie Carroll base hit. Just hitting it over the infield. There were 2 outs. Runners are taking off. And Carroll just slapping it into right field. Morneau scores. Mastroeni scores. And it's a 3-2 ball game.
A tying run at second. Span with a double, a couple of other well-hit balls. He's got 3 doubles in the series already. Scored a couple runs against Reed in Chicago in May. Everybody up on their feet here at Target Field. The tying run at second, 2 away. Carroll, the winning run at first. Over for a strike.
Well, looks like a changeup right there at 84.
Started with a Morneau walk. Morneau homered against Reed in Chicago. 1 strike to Span. And now a ball.
Another off-speed pitch.
Grounder to second, a shattered bat. And that'll end the game. The comeback comes up a little short. The Twins get a couple against Addison Reed. And the White Sox, a rarity for them, they win a 1-run ball game. And the final score 3-2, Kevin Gort.
Yeah, tonight was all about Gavin Floyd. We'll break it all down on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. He was fabulous indeed. Hard luck for Liam Hendriks. We'll hear from Ron Gardner. An instructional will teach you how to hold runners on like a Hall of Famer.